So our license to operate is provided by the communities. It's provided by the state of Pennsylvania. So that comes in the form of permits and licenses. We have to operate safely in order to maintain our license to operate. We're very committed to being responsible in how we operate. This thing that we call Goal Zero was launched about 2 or 3 years ago, and it's our commitment to safety. And we have 12 life-saving rules that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. The reason I talk about them is because there are 4 or 5 of them that directly impact you in your communities, and the rest of them impact our operations on the pad. So there's a safety component of that also. Also, the process safety is a huge piece of our work. Environment and communities, we want to start getting more involved in the communities, and we certainly have a strong environmental program. Sustainable development to us means that when we operate, that we're doing no harm to our surroundings. We're doing the best we can to enter into the communities, to the environment, knowing that we're out of place to begin with, right? But to do it in a manner that offers a coexistence so that it's manageable from your perspective and also from ours. Roads and traffic are big for us. We put lots of effort into road and traffic management, lots of effort into water management, the air emission story. Try to be a good neighbor in the community. So let me talk a little bit further about that. Okay, Joe. So we have a set of onshore gas, tight sand, shale oil, and gas operating principles. I just like to call them the operating principles. The title gets too long. But we put these together to try to, provide internal guidance and also to communicate externally how we operate. So I'm going to talk a lot about well integrity and well construction tonight. And we have to do this right. We have to do this safe and responsibly, or things don't work well. We have to manage the water in a way that protects the subsurface groundwater, reduces the use of potable waters, and when we do use resources, we're doing it in a fashion that doesn't harm that particular resource. We'll talk about that a little bit. Same thing on air, conducting the operations in a manner that protects the air quality, controls the fugitive emissions. Footprint is just the physical space that we're taking up. We want to make that as small as we can. We know our pads are large. They're as small as they can be at this point in time, and we're working to make them smaller. And we have started some pretty productive engagements with your local communities. We've been in touch with the county commissioners, and we've been in touch with some community compacts that are going to have a positive impact, we think, on the socioeconomic and the social performance aspects of shale being here. So safety. Safety is priority one, and it's priority one. And for those who aren't in the company, my wife is one. It gets a little aggravating at times because it does become part of you. And again, not that we always do everything right, but we try to do everything right. And we put a great deal of effort into safety. So when I hired on back in the 1980s, I thought that we couldn't do safety any more or better than we did back then. But traveling forward in time, we've made a lot of progress. So the focus has been there for decades to get to where we are now. The Goal Zero program of no harm to people or the environment is key to our operations. And these 12 life-saving rules. We did a look back about, 5, 6 years ago, and looked at all the accidents that we had worldwide to see what we could have done different to prevent an injury or a fatality. And out of that effort came these life-saving rules. Some are very simple, they're very commonsensical. This one here is the one I talk about first. No driving with a cell phone. We've had employees lose their job driving out of a parking lot with a cell phone to their ear after the life-saving rules were initiated. So we're really serious about it. It does have an impact on safety. Safety belts, I want the person in the vehicle, if they're having trouble, I want them behind the wheel, not in the passenger seat. So that's a direct impact. Those two are direct impacts to you in the community. No drinking or drugs while on the job, and certainly while driving, and the rest of these are largely process oriented. This one is a journey management program that helps us manage our transport just individually, even people like me and Joe when we're traveling around. So the commitment is there on our part, and we hope that translates to the community. If it doesn't translate to the community, then we're not living by the Goal Zero and the life-saving rule standards. So let's talk about drilling and well integrity. So